Tonight on JRPTea-Time, we're going to be talking about how stylized graphics are better than realistic graphics. And I'll also show you how to make this interesting looking tea. Welcome back to JRPTea-Time, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about graphics, and specifically stylized graphics versus realistic graphics. I actually talk a lot about this on Twitter, or make sort of mentions of it on Twitter a lot in random tweets, and it is something that I feel pretty passionate about, and so I'm going to talk about it in JRPTea-Time. But first, the tea, and what kind of tea goes with graphics talk? Well, I've chosen something that kind of goes with the reasons that I like stylized graphics. We're just going to be having basically a simple chai. Chai tea for me is like the perfect tea because it's just the perfect blend of stuff. And conversely, stylized graphics are my perfect way to experience a game. So that's why I've chosen chai. Also, there is another reason, and that is chai is a pretty simple tea. It sets out to do something, be spicy. So what does it do? Put spices in it. Stylized graphics are generally in games that have a strong story focus. So they want to make a game with a strong story. What do? They choose an art style that will last basically forever. It's a simple way to do things. So chai is like 2 or 3 minutes at 100 degrees or boiling. I did boil this before, so it's still very hot. Also, new tea maker, guys. It's a new tea maker. It's bigger than the old one, which is still sitting there. So, stylized graphics versus realistic graphics. Here's where I'm coming from, and here's where some of you should be able to understand this. Let's go back to the Nintendo GameCube. Flick on Zelda Wind Waker. You can still play that today and it still looks good because it's got that art style, it's got those kinds of stylized graphics. If you go and play any realistic graphics title from the time, like, I don't know, just one of the Call of Duties that came out back then, I think it was, I can't remember what they were called, but you know, they're like COD 1 before there was like numbered Call of Duty titles. Go and play some of those. They look awful. I mean, I hope that I actually have like a little gameplay clip showing here, which I'm sure I will, because the difference is just light and day. And that's the thing that always happens. Do you remember when Final Fantasy VIII was like the pinnacle of realistic graphics of how real a game could look? I mean, look at that crap now. It looks awful. Look at Final Fantasy VII. That was even worse. I mean, that was not really pushing the envelope. That was rushing a game out when they didn't really understand 3D graphics. But that's always happens. Games that look really good, realistic games that look really good now. Stuff like, you know, the upcoming Horizon Zero Dawn and Gears of War 4. Sure, they look really good now. You think, wow, that is incredible. How did they do that? But in 5 years' time, when the technology has progressed so far that we've got even more realistic graphics then, we're going to look back on this and think, how the hell did we even play these ugly looking games? That always happens. Realistic graphics are so short-sighted. So incredibly short-sighted. You can pretty much go back and play any pixel graphic game, so 18, 16-bit games. That's why all of these indie and like retro games come out, because those art styles still look good today. They still look good. You can still play them and not think, wow, this looks disgusting. There's a difference between a retro art style and an outdated art style. And outdated art styles are almost always realistic. Cel-shaded graphics, or the anime style, is one of the greatest styles ever because it's timeless. As I say, Wind Waker still looks great today. You can still go back and play like the original Tales of Symphonia on GameCube and it still looks great today. any of that stuff. Things that have come out now on the PlayStation 4, like Tales of Berseria, that's going to look just as good in 5 years' time as it does now. And we're probably going to look back on Final Fantasy 15, which has that more realistic art style, and think, wow, this is an ugly game. Because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be an ugly game. Realistic graphics never hold up because we are not at the point right now where we have photorealistic graphics. So graphics are always going to be not quite photorealistic, and they're going to continue striving for photorealism. So until the day that we have actual photorealistic graphics, realistic graphics are never going to last long. They're never going to be timeless. They're never going to be something that lasts, that people can go back to years on and think, wow, this is still a great looking game. The tea should be ready now. Chai doesn't take long at all. Let's get some payoff. Now, chai is normally brewed here, which I am going to do, with milk. Some people like soy milk in to be healthy and that sort of thing. I just use good old full fat milk. You can also put honey in it. You can also put sugar in it. Some people put sugar in it. I'm going to use, these are Darth Malgus chopsticks. Lightsaber not Darth Malgus. Count Dooku lightsaber chopsticks, but I'm just going to use this as a stirring stick. Let's let that cool. So yeah, it's something that really frustrates me, because when something like Tales of Berseria comes out, Digimon World, the last one I reviewed, Next Order, when that sort of thing comes out, people, you can see the rumblings on the internet, like, wow, why are the graphics so bad? And here's the thing, people totally mistake graphics for art style. The actual graphics in something like Tales of Berseria are really good because the textures are there, the After Effects are there, the frame rates are good, and the fidelity is really, really good. It's sharp textures, it's detailed textures, all that kind of stuff. The graphics, the technical side, are really good. It's not the graphics, it's the art style that these people complain about. And that's another thing that is really annoying. People saying the graphics are really bad, when actually, technically, the graphics are really good. It's just the art style that you don't like. Anime graphics aren't poor graphics. They're actually really good graphics from a technical standpoint. It's just the art style that you think is too weeb for you, or something like that. And I guess that's the other thing. It seems like JRPGs in general will use this cel-shaded or heavy stylized or anime art style, and it completely stops people from coming into it because they think that the game is going to be for kids, or it's just, they immediately judge the game and think, no, I don't want to play that game just because. Like, we've seen a lot of reviews for Horizon Zero Dawn come out, and I'm looking forward to that game. I do want to play that game. But some really trusted reviewers that have early review copies, some people that I really trust have said, yeah, this game would be 10 out of 10 if they focused a little bit on the story. As it stands, it's still like, you know, a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 game, but its story falls well short. And that's it, but I guarantee you, when that comes out, you'll have people who never play JRPGs or never play RPGs praising Horizon for its story, even though by video game standards its story probably isn't going to be that good, because its focus is on being an open world sandbox and on having really nice graphics and on having really good combat. Its focus is never meant to be story. For people that want a good story, they usually play RPGs, and for people that understand what good stories are, they usually play JRPGs, in all honesty, because that's where most good stories are. JRPGs generally aren't afraid to push the envelope or try new things. So that's what I really wanted to push out there, or that's what I really wanted to get across, was realistic graphics are crap. Okay, until we get to photorealism, realistic graphics are just going to be a waste, because in 3 or 5 years time, I'm going to put my Final Fantasy 15 disc back in the PS4 Pro and it's going to look like absolute shit. I'm going to put Tales of Berseria back in the PS4, and it's going to look exactly as I left. It's going to look fantastic. It's not going to look bad at all, because anime style, cel-shaded, retro, 8-bit, 16-bit, these styles translate universally. They last forever. Realistic graphics never last, because the second that a new technology comes out, they make an even better realistic graphical game, and then the other one looks like crap. Alright guys, I'm just going to, I guess, have a small drink of this lovely chai tea. Never gonna burn my tongue again on camera, guys. I'm sorry if that's what you guys stick around for. It's just not happening anymore. This is really good. If you enjoyed the video, obviously hit the like button and subscribe and all that other stuff. I mean, I do a spiel at the end of every other video. I don't need to do it in JRPTea-Time. You guys know how to support me. Jump on Patreon or use the Amazon links in the video description and all that other good stuff. And I'll see you all soon.